right. Sometimes you have to refresh it too. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm set up here properly with it showing correctly on my computer. So if there, I think that's, yes, I think that's it. I think I've got it set now. Okay. Hello everyone, this is Sonia with Stamping Around the Dining Room Table. And I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you do not have one of your own and you would like to have a demonstrator, you can reach out to me and I would be happy to be yours. You can go right to my web page if you would like, stamparoundthetable.stampinup.net, and that will show you, let you go right into order. You can see things in all of our catalogs. The mini catalog, which just went live January 5th, and it's with us till June, and our celebration also January 5th to February 28th, and this is our annual, which is good until May 3rd. Okay, so for every item, for every $50 that you spend in these catalogs, it could be one or the other or a combination, you can choose an item from our celebration. Okay, so tonight I am going to be doing things, just doing some minor stamps, using some minor stamps from A Touch of Ink. And I'm also going to, which is found, wait, before I say that, it's found on page 12 of, this is in our celebration. This one, because there's this and one other item that you have to spend $100 for to get free. And then the paper I'm going to use, the designer series paper, is on page 10, and that is for $50. So if you did want to get this paper and you did like this ink, this stamp set, and you wanted to get that would mean that you have to spend $150. $150 does qualify as a workshop, which is the name that Stampin' Up! Gives their parties. And if you have $150 or more, you get 10% of that in free items, so you can choose, that. So if you did get that, you could choose this and this paper free for $150 plus another item from one of our either the mini catalog or annual catalog, for that $15 or whatever your 10% is, because if you did a little more than $150, it would be a little more. Okay, one of the things I did want to show you about this Touch of Ink, it is two-step stamping. So I have some of them off here, but we have some that are just the outline, and then some that end up, they fill in. So I just had made this up just to kind of explain it more. This is the part, the outline, this is the part that you can fill in, and this is with them stamped together. So it has a butterfly, a hummingbird, some flowers, some leaves, and then it even has some individual leaves here. This is like a little, you could either put it like on the flowers or on one of the birds or the butterfly, just to give a little more definition to them. Anyway, it's just, or if you want to make like a little shadow, you could even use that for the shadow. The sentiments with it are: thank you so much, best wishes, hello friend, hope, love, and thinking of you. Okay, so I did on yesterday, January 5th, no, not 5th, look at the right date, I have my calendar right here, I looked at the wrong day, January 12th, on my Facebook Live, and my Facebook page is called Stampin' Around the Dining Room Table. I showed this, and I made a few cards, and just to maybe whet your appetite a little. These are 2 cards that I made, and these are more like what you might think of as regular folds, and these are 2 fancy folds. What happens is this is the same size like that, but you put an additional crease here, and you, in this part in here, this part right here, you glue the front to the back, so it opens like that. Okay, so that might be something that you'd be interested in, taking a look at, just to see more about the stamp set, to see how those are made. The other thing that I did decide to do tonight, because I wanted to use one of the framelit dies that come in one of the other sets. I chose this one right here, the smallest one of this shape, for what I'm going to do tonight, and that comes from the excuse me, Hippo Happiness Bundle. It's on page 49 in our annual catalog, and it ends up, if you did want this, it does have just a stamp set for $18, which includes, it tells me here, I'm just trying to read it quickly, 27 photopolymer stamps, and it also comes with, and if you wanted the dies, then the dies have, it doesn't say here how many are in here. It's quite a few dies, as you can see, though. Okay, and if you get just the stamps by themselves, they're $18. I have to look at the back here. One second. I wasn't thinking. $176. They don't tell all the information about the dies when they have it in the bundle. You have to go back. $176 right here. It includes 25 dies, and by itself that's $36. Okay, if you liked it and you decided you wanted the bundle, so that would be the stamps and the die set, that would be $48.50. That saves you 10% over the cost of them individually. So I just wanted to show you that because tonight I'm calling this mix and match with a touch of ink. Okay, so all right. So I showed you, it's when I just showed you the, and this is called Flower and Field. This designer paper is called Flower and Field. It has 6 sheets, or it has 6 designs. In a sense, it's really 12 designs because they're 2-sided sheets, but you get 2 of each of these. So this is one. So see, the one side's all flowers. Okay. This one is greenery, as you can see. This one does have a, turn that around, okay. This one, and this one, and then turn them over to show you the back. So these just have designs like the chevron, polka dots, more polka dots. Oh, this one did have, I had it the other way around. This has flowers, and the other side is the vines, okay. And 2 of those are together. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And then this has like kind of a flower design with tulip shapes on it and stripes. So do I have 6 here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, because that's this one. 5, 6. Okay, just 2 stuck together. I was afraid for a moment that I missed one. Okay, so that's the one that I said if you spend $50, you can choose that. And it has a lot of colors that they use in it. Bumblebee, which is one of our yellows. Cherry Cobbler, which is a darker red. Flirty Flamingo. Granny Apple Green. Just Jade. Misty Moonlight. Petal Pink. Pool Party. Poppy Parade. Pumpkin Pie. Shaded Spruce. So Saffron and Whisper White. And this is the card I'm going to show you how to make tonight. It's a fun fold. I did get the directions for this from Rose Ward. She did it the other day, and I really liked it and wanted to try it. And what I decided was, even though they do not say Rococo Rose, I felt that the Rococo Rose, which is this darker pink, so you can see the color, that darker pink does kind of, it looks close to the pink that's in there. And then this lighter pink here and here, that is the petal pink, which is one of the ones that they did say was included in there. And the this right here is petal pink, and it's got some gold on the edge. That may be retired. I should have checked that. But anyway, but I like how it looks with this. It may not be. I have to look. But anyway, so, and then I use the gold, gilded, these gold are gilded gems. And that is from our annual catalog. And this is the label that I cut out using the the die set that I had showed you. Okay, and then I embossed on there in gold. And for the inside, this just says thinking of you. For the inside, I just put one of the flowers there, and that comes from a touch of ink. It's this flower, just not all the way on, stamped off a little. And here I'm holding it like to the side, so as if you could really see that. This, and that's the overlay right there. And I left it blank because I thought, many of you that may know me know that I've said this before. If I'm going to stamp something inside, I wait until I know who I'm sending it to and why I'm sending it. And this type of card, thinking of you, could be anything. It could be, you might want to handwrite a note in it. Okay. And you know, or you may find a sentiment you want to add in there. Okay. And then it just ties to the side, ties over here on the side, if I can get it to tie. And if you're not good with bows, you can always do a knot, but there. This kind of knot here, because you have the two ends coming each way, that can be more like tying your shoe. So for what I'm gonna show you how we make this this by using some other colors, and one of the other, this one I used, let's show you here. I used, if I can get it here, I used that design for the pink one, and the one I'm going to do now is, if I can get it here, get a hold of it, somewhere here, there it is like this one. This really looks like flowers out in the field. And I decided I was going to use a piece of basic black for the card base. Okay, now I'm going to make sure I've got my, yes. So to start out, this is a piece of cardstock that's cut in half the long way. So when you would put it down, I'll show you with a different piece of, if I can get a whole one here next to me. Okay, if I was going to cut this paper like this, I would put it this direction, and I would line it up at the 4 1/4, and where this is, that would cut it, and you would end up with two pieces like this. Okay, then you're going to, oh, excuse me, then you're going to score this. And the way she did it, when she showed it to us the other day, was that she said she did one end like this and she scored. Make sure you put the cutting blade out of the way. You don't want to cut by accident. She scored at 2 inches, and then she turned it and went to the other end just because it's a little bit easier, and scored it at 4 1/4. Okay. I did, in case if somebody wanted to just score it like all in one shot, you could score it at 2, and then it goes over to 6 3/4. Or I guess you could do it the other way, which would be 4 1/4, and then it would move over to 9. So that might be easier for some people. But this end is 2 inches, this end is 4 1/4. Okay? And now what you're going to do is, this shorter end you're going to fold in like this. I just want to, make sure it's there. Fold it in like that. And then this end, this side's going to fold over to meet it. Now it's hard to see here because it's black, but it doesn't, see, here's the edge, so it doesn't come all the way over. And what I decided was I was going to use red, and again, I'm using real red because when I tried the cherry cobbler and I tried the poppy parade, which is nice, and really this flower, I think it's poppy parade in the center and cherry cobbler on the outside, but actually when I put it up to those colors, it looked the best with the real red. So that's what I'm going to do. So, and then this side's going to have this on it too. And it's a little hard to see when it's black, but hopefully we'll get through with that. So, and then the inside is just going to have a piece of white. Or you could do a different color if you want. But this will be like, that's going to all be hidden until they open it. And that's where you can, you know, write your message or whatever. So this, the red, so this would be the cardstock that you're going to put, you know, on the front and on this little piece. So this piece here for the front is 4 by 4. This piece is 1 3/4 by 4. So both are 4 inches long. This is 4 inches wide. This is 1 3/4 inches wide. Okay. Then so that's going to go next to the black. Then you're going to put your designer series paper on top. So it needs to be a little bit smaller. So this one is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 because they're squares. And this one's going to be 3 3/4 long by 1 1/2 wide. Okay, so what I'm going to do first with these is grab my, okay, and I'm going to, this part at least, I'm going to just put on with my tape runner. You can use whatever adhesive you like. It could be glue. It could be, you know, whatever it is that you like, the tape runner you like. Okay. We do have, I'm out of the refills. I have stuff coming today from Stampin' Up, and I'll have more refills for my seal, which is what they call the their tape runner. All right, so so now this will go on the front. You're just going to have a nice, do it this way. You're just going to have like a nice, but I'm not ready to put that on yet. But you just have a nice black border around that. This one goes on here, okay? So it's going to go there. So if you want to open it so it's flat to make it easier to put it on there. And this one you can put on now because it's really done with that right now. And again, you just want a little black border all around the edge there. Okay? Now, before I put this on, I have to put my ribbon on. This is about 20 inches of ribbon, and this is silver edged ribbon. This one is current, and the other one unfortunately is no longer, has been retired. But sometimes, you know, I know it's not the best practice since you can't get that ribbon for yourself, but like all of us, we have things that are left from what we used in the past, and we're not just throwing them out. Okay, so what I did with this, I wanted the ribbon to stay well, and I know I'm going to put the top over it, and it probably would hold it in place, but I just wanted to make sure this is where I want it. So, because sometimes, you know, you try to put the other on and it moves, moves on you. Okay, and this one I'm going to also, instead of the tape runner, I'm also going to use my glue, my liquid glue. Okay. And again, because this does, I want to make sure the flowers are going up and up, like upwards, not this way and not this, you know, not upside down, not sideways. I want the flowers to grow up. Okay, let me move that so it's kind of out of my way there. And then put that there so it kind of sits better. And then I just want to hover over this and try and, that looks about right. So that's where it's going. Okay. Then I also, you don't have to. You can hook this to the back, or you can just leave it in, because when you tie it over here, it will bring it over. I did choose to put some glue on the back. You could do glue dots also if you wanted. Okay. And just bringing it right over here. Or, as I said, you don't have to do it all. It's whatever your preference is, and that will dry clear there when it dries. So see, now you might be able to see a little better that this actually is the edge there. Okay. So what you can do for the front of this, if you wanted to have, you could have a smaller piece of white on here if you wanted really to stamp an image, or you could even, on something like this, you could even maybe stamp a small image. I decided I just wanted it to have just this on the front, and I think I want the red, but I cut one of each out. But I feel when I put the black, the background feels like it really jumps at me. And when I put the red on, I feel like the flowers come out a little more. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do silver embossing on this. I know many of you watching have already done some embossing, but there could be some people that this is new to, or they haven't done it very much. So I'm going to just take a few minutes to do that. And when we emboss, we have our little embossing buddy, or there's different names for it. It has just a little bit of powder inside, so it makes sure there's no oils from your hands on it. It just makes it a little bit nicer, so you're not as apt to have some stray pieces of the embossing powder where you don't want it. Now, and then you use Versamark water stamp pad. It's a type of ink. It's a little bit stickier, although you can do this with regular ink. You just have to be a little bit quicker with the embossing powder. Okay, so you can barely see it because it's just a watermark. And then this is the silver embossing powder. I keep mine in this little container. It comes in this little jar, but I keep it in this plastic container because it's very easy for it to get all over the place. And sometimes I like to put a second one on just to be sure I really got it. And I flick it off, and I do look at it. If it looks like there's a stray piece of it, a little bit of embossing powder, I can get that off with a tiny brush or something like that. This looks good. Then you have to heat this up, and you need a heat tool. This is the one I have. Stampin' Up does sell one that's a similar style. Okay, but then one thing about the Stampin' Up one, it does have two settings. Mine only has one. I'm going to turn it on here. It does get loud, and so I'm just going to put it off to the side so it's not quite as close to the microphone here, and let it heat up a little bit. And then this is where the magic happens. See, it doesn't take long. Once it gets hot, see, it changed that from like a kind of a dull gray to this beautiful silver. Okay, so I want to let that cool a little bit to make sure, because sometimes that can still be damp for a little bit. And then you don't want to, by accident, after all, you don't want to knock it off there. I want to make sure I get this the right direction. That's going to go that way. And for inside, I decided, just like the other one, I just want to do a little bit, just a little flower on the inside. Because thank you so much. Like many of us, when we do a thank you note, we would like to be able to write inside. Or if I do decide, depending on who I give it to, that I just want to just have some other little short message in there, I can always stamp in there at the, when I'm getting ready to send it. I mean, overall, we try to stamp before we glue stuff in case we do make a mistake, that we can correct it, before it's not like stuck in there forever. Okay, and I'm used the real red, and then for that, and then I'm also going to use Bumblebee for this two-step stamp here. Okay. Give that this ink dries pretty quickly, but I also want to give that just a little bit of time, because the last thing I want to do is and I can see in the light, it still looks a little damp. I don't want to touch it or move it too soon, and maybe when I'm gluing it in, I touch it and then it smears. That would not be a good thing. All right, and then for my sentiment on the front, I do want it to be popped up, so I'm using my dimensionals. And I'm putting 4 on. Okay. And then, whoop, get the tops off here. 1, 2, 3, whoop. Whoop, that one's already off. Got some sticky on my take your pick tool. Okay. So this will be good. So now I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to put my tape runner on the back of this one. Put that in there. Then I like to do what we call give it a back rub. Okay. And now this will go over to the side. I shouldn't have turned it back over. Thankfully it didn't stick. This, I want this in the middle, but you could put it down here. You could put it up a little higher, not too high, but I'm choosing to put right in the center. And then I'm going to use some of our basic rhinestone basic jewels because they look kind of silvery. Just plain rhinestones without any color, added color. And let me see, I think I'm going to use this size if I can get a hold of it with my take your pick tool. Put that right about there. On this side, right about there. I think that's. And let me just see. I may want to. My other one, I just put the 2 on, but I think I want to try this. Usually we do an odd number, but sometimes you do even numbers when it's like on like a banner or just kind of a type of banner. I think I like that. Give it a little more bling than this one. And maybe I'll go back and add a couple more smaller ones as a gold to that one. We'll see. Okay, and so then here you go. You tie this, and the person gets it. They open it. You know, they untie it. They open it. They see your beautiful message inside. Okay, so this is just a little. Sometimes it's not like it's still in many ways a basic card. The difference is that it folds a little differently. You know, and and your layers are just a little different than your traditional card. And if you want, you can trim those down a little bit. I may do that later. Now, just to also to let you know, this is just a little bit narrower than our cards usually are, but it does still, see, it still fits in our envelopes. Just have a little extra on either side. Okay, so these are the cards that I made today, and that's what I wanted to share today. So I think I'm close to my 30 minutes that I've tried to aim for. It might be a little less, but that's good because that's what I'm really trying to keep it to that. Okay, I did realize there was one thing I did not mention. I do have written down here a hostess code for January between up until the 29th. If you do decide to order something and it is less than $150, please use the hostess code. Okay, so it's DSDC7RKN, but if you do have 150 or more, then that will be considered a workshop, so don't use that code. Just you put all your information in so you get the credit. Okay, so okay, any comments, any questions, you can leave them here. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. If you've not subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it if you would do that. And there's a little bell there somewhere that if you hit on it, it will notify you when I do put a new video on. Okay, and I am my videos right now on YouTube are on Wednesday evenings at 7:30. Okay, so thanks everyone. I hope this is a card that you may decide to try yourself. And I hope you have a good week. And until we meet again, happy crafting. Bye-bye.